Idlewild, in my opinion, is magical. Conditions are perfect. It's like springtime in the summertime. Deann is really good at just playing golf. She's not necessarily the farthest thrower, but she makes all of her circle one putts.
Raven Klein is a hard worker and believes in herself. She's a master of the backhand flex shot. It's unbelievable. She really is.
So Morgan's new to the sport, but she looks like she's been doing it her whole life. Idlewild is made for people that work a flex forehand.
Oh, the end. Birthday girl extraordinaire flex sidearm, which it shapes up so well out here at Idlewild.
I think the winner has to stay composed, not take double bogeys.
Arguably 0 gimme holes. I'm curious if it's going to come down to the last few holes tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to the final round of the 2024 LWS Open at Idlewild, presented by Dynamic Disc and the Natty. I'm dancing. I don't know about you guys. And I'm also Madison Walker.
Yeah, you sure are. I'm also Erika Stinchcomb, and I am hyped. And we are the Two Hot Geese.
Yeah, honk. We can't forget that.
And we're here. We're doing it. Mm-hmm. We love you.
Yep. It's another beautiful day. It's old saying it, honestly. Just too many in a row at this point. Blue skies, perfect little white clouds, all of that. No wind. Let's watch Scoggins today. Through round 2, she's 80% fairway hits. She's 53% circle 2 in regulation, and 72% of her circle 1X putts are dropping. Not as many as we've seen from her before, but she's keeping it clean.
Deann, Carey joining us today. 75% fairway hits, 39% circle 2 in regulation, and 87% C1X putting.
Yeah, Deann making every putt. Very fun to watch. Raven Klein, 80% through round 2, fairway hits. 50% of the time she is putting for birdie. She's also an excellent putter. 79% of the time her circle 1X putts going in the basket.
And Morgan Lynds, who we saw yesterday remaining on the lead card. She's hitting the fairway 75% of the time, landing in circle 2 in regulation 42%, and hitting circle 1X putts 72% of the time. Only a few strokes separates these ladies. It's anybody's game.
Yeah. Hole 1, it's 638 feet, a nice big rip right out the gate. It's a par 4 that's very birdieable by everyone. There is out of bounds on the left and right that you maybe are worried about if you're getting super aggressive or if there's some wind, but today it was nice and calm. The second shot is the main shot you're worried about messing up. There's an elevated basket. That guardian tree gets right in the way of the dummy hyzer to the green, and if you come in deep, there's OB.
First up in the lead card, 10 a.m. from Los Angeles, California, Scoggins.
Owen didn't actually sleep last night. She just partied until this moment.
Yeah, to celebrate her 43rd birthday. She said she maybe went a little too hard, but she said that it only comes once a year, so like she had to.
Yeah, it checks out. And
she says this as she showed up to warm up like 10 minutes before.
Oh my God. Well, you wouldn't know it by that perfect little flex shot to start.
She is dialed always.
Second out of Shelby, North Carolina, Deann, Carey.
Deann is a really well-rounded player. She always looks so composed.
She does. She doesn't like to pull out the forehand as much, but she's got a really great backhand game, and she super commits to her backhand turnovers as well. This one's kind of heading towards OB.
Yeah, surprising mistake.
Yeah, never comes back.
Third to tee from Burnsville, Minnesota, Raven Klein.
I hope we get to see some more beautiful backhand flex shots from Raven Klein. She throws just some of the prettiest shots I've ever seen. And that looks like a great start.
And rounding out the lead card from Palm City, Florida, Morgan Lynds.
I'm not sure if this is Morgan's first time on a lead card at an Elite Series, but I think it is. Yesterday was, and then she did it back-to-back days, so that's pretty cool.
It's for sure the first time she's gone back-to-back days, so this looks really high, and it's heading towards out of bounds.
Oh, what a mean little roll at the end.
Yeah, definitely too high, though. We'll see. There's a forehand line over there. She might be able to get a look at the pin. If you didn't watch yesterday, Morgan has such a beautiful sidearm. Look at this.
Wow.
Hopefully those branches aren't in her way and she can save her par. Deann not left with a whole lot here, it looks like.
Yeah, she's a little bit pinched, having to throw a turnover. She's got a lot of ground to cover before the disc can land, and she does a really good job of giving the perfect amount of height. She is going to have a little work left, though, to save that par.
Yeah, Deann, you're right, doesn't really have the sidearm, but I was just thinking, like, she has solid drive. She doesn't get rattled. She's a really good putter.
Yeah.
She's good at approaches. She just has a lot of tools in the bag, and she's generally very composed.
Yeah, she said she literally has one disc that she can sidearm, like for tee shots. And she can do little flex approaches just fine. But, yep, no, you won't see any forehand tee shots unless she's feeling desperate.
Looks like Owen and Raven are putting for a birdie, I think both inside the circle.
Deann having to do an Anheuser approach to the basket. Oh, she's running
Oh,
it.
yeah, she is. It was a good looking run, too. Pretty safe. As safe as you can do it on hole one. Raven also going to be going for it. She's an aggressive putter. And it pays off. What a start.
Yeah, that's great. I like that little floaty flex putt.
Perfect for this elevated basket. Raven was on our round one feature card. So cool to see her battle and get back onto the lead card for the final day.
Morgan with a wide straddle out under these branches. That's a tough putt. She gives it a soft bid and checks up pretty nicely right on the edge of the bullseye. It's going to have to settle for a bogey at best.
Own with something similar. I like that she's lower to get under the branches, but she's not able to get the putter up and over the rim.
Hole one was weird today. Usually it's one of the easier holes. Today there was only 9 birdies.
And yeah, it is surprising to see a couple of bogeys here on one card. Usually it's a par. Raven going to take 1 or 2 on her card mates. And it's only going to be a 2-stroke game now between Raven and Own.
Chase card check-in already on hole 2. Natalie Ryan working a really nice backhand flex shot.
Wow.
All the way
great.
up almost to the flat.
The backhand flex is definitely the shot to get the birdie on this one. Though this is an interesting approach.
Yeah, I got to see this one live, and I thought it wasn't quite there enough, but it was just perfect. The perfect amount of power, too. Coming out the gate looking confident.
Oh, hey. Honk.
Honk.
Madison Walker 2 down through 2. What a start. And here's hole 2. We just saw it, 509 feet. This is one that anyone can get, but it is 2 very good shots. Sidearm or backhand turnover or a flex shot, as we just saw, works. There's an OB creek line on the left side, and it's very hard to save, sometimes even a bogey from over there. If you're positioned well, you go across the water to the shorter pin here that's on a hillside slope towards some out of bounds that's inside the circle. It's one that you really want to get a look at, but so often you see pitch ups on the second shot and then you're playing for par and bogeys happen quickly.
This is definitely the aggressive play here, this backhand turnover. Raven, a little too much turn, and she cut rolls pretty straight out of bounds. From there, it's difficult. It's a decision on whether she's going to want to try to go across the water and save the par.
Very rarely, I think, are you given a window to even attempt that.
Owen makes it over the gravel pile. That's a big
I
sidearm.
was going to say, that's probably the farthest sidearm I've seen. Deann also putting a little too much turn on this. This is why I'm scared to throw the backhand. These happen so quickly.
Yeah, you have to give it so much height.
Oh.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I must have caught something. Morgan with a much straighter shot than Own. Really good power here.
Yeah.
Wow, also so good.
She's got the flex, but also she's got like a really buttery hyzer flip forehand.
Yeah, very smooth overall.
Yeah. Raven has no opportunity. I didn't realize how pinched she was. She's going to be playing for bogey at best here, bar a throw-in.
Yeah, look at Deann's inbounds, but she's still so in those bushes.
Yeah, the OB line painter got real aggressive back there.
Or lazy.
I don't know, if being in that shul.
Maybe just went all the way back out and around.
Yeah.
No. Morgan with a smooth looking upshot. She is pretty well outside the circle. That's most likely going to be a layup for par. Own attacking here with the sidearm. Doesn't look like she can see the pin.
This is a pretty scary approach. You kind of, if you're getting aggressive, you have to throw it at that tree. You're worried about getting a kick, but we've seen Own take a little bit more of a conservative approach and just rely on her putting abilities.
I really want to come up with like a signature name for that bounce, because Own is the only person throwing approach destroyers and they just kind of bounce off the ground in a certain way.
Yeah.
So just think about that.
I don't
Maybe leave it in the comments if you got something.
Yeah. Imagine. I feel like it would be just mostly flare skips if anyone else tried it.
But it doesn't. It just kind of
It's like a twirl.
boings around.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, Deann. Double OB after a bogey on one. Ooh.
Oh, her first shot was an OB though. Just in the
Oh,
woods.
yeah, you're right. Sorry. It was just so close. It felt like it was.
Nice recovery. That's one shot you really don't want to mess up on. The stroke stacks so quickly.
And Morgan just laying up for a par.
Just a golfer golfing.
Yeah, I think Morgan, as we said yesterday, I'm actually surprised that Raven didn't run that, but I think it's really smart with the birdie start. We were saying yesterday that Morgan is just played golf. She's just a really strong mental golfer, and I think that's why she stayed on lead card.
Yeah, this course is really about not playing beyond your means and just finding your landing zones and kind of chipping around.
Own with the birdie there.
There was more birdies on hole 2 than hole 1. 13. It's wild. Hole 2 used to play as the hardest hole every round. It's cool to see everyone getting so much better.
Yeah.
Own holding on to a 4-stroke lead right now. Hole 3 is one of the holes where we were supposed to get a shorter tee pad. It's a par 4 that's pretty out of reach for the birdie, 656 feet, but just a weird shape. Your first shot, ideally, in a perfect world, it's landing right, but it can't go right till the very end of the flight because early, it's too pinched off to attack around the corner. There's a Mando over there as well, and a big guardian tree that you can sometimes, if you're in a good spot, play under the branches instead of going out and around and really lengthening the hole. OB all the way down the right and left side. Also the hilly green. That's we should really talk about that. It will get you. See a ton of rollaways on that green.
Own with a really nice start. Love the sidearm here.
Morgan in contention for one of the fastest players on tour.
That's always a fun game. Try to decide who's the fastest card.
The Mandahanos have been long-time winners.
Yeah, but who joins them?
I
to
think
make the
right now
fastest?
Morgan Lynds is so fast.
Raven with a beautiful shot there. That looks like her Lucid Sheriff, one of her favorite discs.
Deann, a little overturned again, but not enough to cut roll very far. This is a fine play. This is one of those holes because it's a tweener that you can have one bad shot and still par it.
Mm-hmm. But it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
And it looks like Morgan... Oh, I thought she pulled it. She
Oh.
actually goes deep.
Yeah, tries to cheat the corner. Does a great job. A little too great.
Yeah.
And that OB line, I didn't realize till today, is pulled so far off the street. It's like a couple feet inside of the spectator rope.
Huh.
It's way further off the road than I thought.
Deann gonna go through that right side gap near the mandatory. Looks like she made it through nicely. Here is a nice play because you're generally, I was gonna say taking the OB out of it, but she was kind of headed right for it. Own catching a tree. She's
That tree is
way
probably,
up there.
That tree's probably on the OB line.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Raven in a really great spot.
Yeah, what a drive.
Oh my, is she going for the green?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. And have we seen birdies on this hole yet?
We don't really see people get to circle two even.
I know. I don't think we've seen a birdie this weekend.
No, I don't think we've seen a birdie ever
Ever?
on this hole.
Oh man, what a statement to not actually know.
Yeah. No, I really don't think.
Yeah, I
think
believe
we
you.
looked it up.
It's a very probable statistic. Mean roll for Deann. She is getting idle worked.
Morgan turning this one a little bit, but with the friendly kick back towards the green.
Own. Parked. For a par.
Doing own stuff.
Deann pitching up a little forehand, leaving herself a little bit of work here for the bogey.
The dreaded soft forehand.
Yeah, it is a hard skill to master. Raven for a birdie.
Come on.
That's a highlight. Absolute highlight.
She's the only birdie of the day. We don't need to say that because she's the only birdie ever.
Probably.
3 people got to circle 2 yesterday. 2 people got to circle 2 the day before. So everyone else has been having only circle 2 looks. Today, Raven inside the circle.
So her drive was so amazing to get down there to give her a look. And it's not like it was an easy approach either. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm speechless.
Yeah, was 2 truly unbelievable shots. Another chase card check-in with Natalie Ryan on hole 4.
This is one we have seen eagles on. It's a par 5. We've seen a lot less attempts. It's mostly been birdies, but this is far enough where Natalie can think about going across.
And this is kind of the separator right here is if you're willing to push that right side OB. Natalie is, her second shot, she's willing to push it again and gets a really nice lucky bounce.
And stays in. Circle 2 putt for eagle. Oh, wow.
Yeah, casual.
Big one.
So Natalie eagled this one yesterday as well, and she said she made it from like almost outside circle 2 on the short side. Yeah, way down at the bottom of the hill. So just 2 incredible putts.
Raven bringing it back to a 4 strokes, separating her from Own. Hole 4, it's a par 5. Let's just eagle it. End of preview. 722 feet. You have to clear the pond. The OB right is tighter than in years previous. The first shot, you just need to be safe. The second shot, largely, you're trying to lay up right here on the hillside. Give yourself the biggest gap to go across. It's a pretty simple birdie if you kind of chop it up into little pieces and have really good placement shot on the second and third shots. Raven still without a par. Looking for another birdie here.
Yep.
Some good power there from Raven.
Just like the other day, very same.
There's a little birdhouse there. That's kind of a mark of a solid drive.
Yep. And I'm land the same place. Yep.
Zoom out. Okay. I think it's a little short of the birdhouse.
Come on.
You hear Morgan saying stable up because she's currently over OB.
Oh, she at least crossed.
Yeah, hopefully the spotter saw that, gives her the mark. Looks like he is. And that's, I mean, I don't want to call it fortunate, but a lot of times you see people having to come just re-tee, essentially. There's no drop zone or anything. So Morgan, at least fortunate to be up there.
Yeah, that OB line peels away from the corner, and a lot of discs just carry over that the whole way. I saw a re-tee on my card today. Brutal.
Uh-huh. Owen with the layup here, fading nicely. And it looks like she's in a little bit better position than the past 2 days where she's been a little bit more on the left side, but has made it work.
Morgan just playing for par now. Pretty
Ooh.
important to have a good approach here, and that is going to be very pinched on the right side.
We saw her down farther yesterday, and she ended up just pitching up to a better spot. I'll be curious to see if she goes across from there.
Yeah, what kind of golf is she going to do here in a pinch?
Man, big drive from Raven. Good distance.
Yeah, just a little chip up to the flat. Hole 4 played as the second easiest hole of the day. There were 20 birdies in the field.
Morgan does have a little gap, really commits to it. Gonna have a long putt. It looks like outside circle 2, or at least on the edge. Oh, yeah. Little anti-skip. Maybe she should party hard every night. Owen looking really confident out here.
Deann not quite getting the turn on it that she wants. She'll be just outside the circle for her birdie, but that's fine enough on this one. Raven right in the middle and nice and far into the gap.
Pretty much right where you'd put it if you got to choose. And that's a great looking shot.
Whew, buzz in the basket.
Morgan up first, trying to save par. Really long look. Gives it a jump. Gonna be a bogey.
Today, 4 holes averaged under par. This is one of them, a quarter stroke under par on the field. Deann sending that one straight over the top of the basket. Sadly, does not catch the flagstick. She'll have a little bit of work left.
Raven Klein hates pars.
And it's now 1 under. 2 under.
Oh, no. That one, I mean, they all hurt, but you really just want to get your par and start getting some momentum out here. Another bogey for Deann.
Own 2 down through the first 4.
And she has to have the least bogeys out of any of the competitors. Didn't she only have... Oh, she had 2 yesterday, actually?
Yep,
She had
yep.
2, okay. at the very
Crazy
end.
to see 2 bogeys on the easiest hole, second easiest hole of the day from our lead card. But like Erika said yesterday, you never know which one can get you out here. Natalie Ryan with the current hot round at 3 down through 6. Hole 5 is 334 feet, but a very difficult 334 feet to cover. It's slightly uphill. We have had a very consistent headwind every day on this hole. If you want to get to the pin, you have to do a really aggressive, very risky line of either a big flex or a huge hyzer that is coming down and finishing, fading towards that out of bounds pond to the left of the pin. It's also elevated, so even if you do get yourself a good drive and you're in circle 2, it's really tough to not just lay this one up.
Raven stabling up from round 1. She threw a trespass. This is a Lucid ex-sheriff with great commitment, and it takes a lot of power to get where she is. I hope she runs that putt.
On one of the few people to go for sidearm here, you have to work around that tree, so you do have to have a great flex game that you can predict.
Amazing.
Wow. That's really, really knowing your disc right there.
We've seen birdies on this hole, but we have not seen anybody put it in the bullseye.
Not with a forehand especially.
Oh, man.
Look at all the movement on this disc perfectly around the tree.
And this shot's so cool because it's so much safer than the backhand. If you have perfect control. Like if she didn't push OB on either side.
I could throw a really great flex forehand, but that is a risky shot.
Yeah. Cool to see Morgan do it too and gets better turn than yesterday as well. Go in.
Wow.
Stop.
She's like, oh yeah, that actually looks great. I'll try it.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh, Deann with a nice committed shot as well.
A lot of power. Just doesn't quite fade as much as you want, but a really great shot.
Almost pin high. Yesterday, we only saw 2 people get inside the circle. In round 1, only 3 got inside the circle. So those 2 forehands are absolutely incredible.
So was Raven's shot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she does. I mean, that's smart. I'm proud of her.
Yeah, circle 2 putt towards the pond. That's always hard, even if you're good.
Morgan for her first birdie of the round. Really nice.
What a birdie to get.
Can you imagine following Owen Scoggins, just trying to throw a flex forehand on a really hard hole that she just parked?
Looks like she's got it.
Uh-huh. Deann at least getting the par there.
There were, again, only 3 people that got inside the circle today. We got to watch 2 of them. The other was Missy Gannon. She's got this tee shot pretty dialed.
Going more like straight at it, right?
Yep, straight, like Thrasher backhand.
And then a little fade.
Yep. And they were the only 3 birdies on hole 5 today.
Man, Owen 5 strokes ahead of Natalie and Raven Klein, who are in a tie for second. Hole 6, it's a downhill par 4, 555. So much danger. Got the creek on the left. Got this big, beautiful tree down here that you need to go right or left of. I like right, but it just depends on where you land your tee shot, which is typically a sidearm. Backhand works as well, but you see a lot of cut rolls towards OB as well. It's super risky to go to this little felt-covered green. It does not like to catch discs. It likes to ramp them off and skip them OB. Most of the time you see birdie looks there from the short side. Smoked.
Yeah, Owen getting down to the flat. Discs have a much smaller chance of rolling from there. Owen still kind of heads that way, but landing the sidearms on the side of the hill, sometimes they just pick up and roll. Not as often as backhands, but they still do it. So good.
Wow. Morgan has so much control. Must be a pretty stable.
Oh.
No, there it is. Man,
Stop
did you
it.
know?
No, I didn't. But mine rolled today.
At least it rolls into kind of that area that bubbles out before the OB gets tighter.
Raven's so close. Going really aggressive. Thankfully, that just dropped her straight down.
Deann also going to show us the backhand. That's looking pretty dang nice. A little high on the right side. It's tough to get a backhand to work down the gap from there. Raven up first, well back from the gap here.
Full run up. Sending it.
Wow. Looks like a higher speed disc. Like she is absolutely sending it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Kind of surprising to see her come in that hot.
I like it.
Yeah.
There's kind of an element of that out here at this course where sometimes you just throw it as hard as you can towards the gap and hope.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah.
It's never going to be good unless you give it a chance.
Deann having to bring out the sidearm. You can see it doesn't really shape up very well for a backhand. And that was a nice, smooth little chip shot to a great landing zone.
Owen right at the little hyzer gap. Not trying to go for the other side, but getting it nice and close. She'll have a circle 2 putt.
Raven trying to save par here. Got that one tree in the way, and she must have been thinking about it.
Two OBs on this hole. It happened so fast.
Yeah, you're having a good round, and then all of a sudden... Whoa! Deann with a great run for a birdie.
Ooh, Morgan having to do a technical little forehand. That was great. The screen is so slidey. Your discs actually speed up when it hits. Wow.
Oh my. Own a turkey.
Turkeys are rare out at this place. Owen would get a circle 2 putt to make hers. Look at the body language.
A little low left side ringer.
Oh, wow. There was only 2 birdies today on hole 6. I know there's never that many.
I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me.
Yep. Owen Scoggins and Natalie Ryan got it from deep in circle 2. I saw it, watched it on my card.
Morgan with a nice clean par. And Raven putting 6 with the double OB. Raven, the only one on our lead card that was in striking distance of Owen, but after that double bogey and Owen's turkey, all of a sudden, Owen has 8 strokes on our competitor.
Ooh, that's a cool shot. Really capturing the perfect cloudy day.
Owen and Natalie Ryan tied for the hot round at 4 under so far.
Hole 7, one of my favorite holes on the course. A very technical, small gap tee shot over out of bounds. You got to throw it about 250 feet to this little corner right here. Hopefully avoid those roots and get a little skip up into this little tree line or right here. Pick a forehand or a backhand depending on what you're comfortable with to throw this uphill second 200-ish foot shot. Trying to stay out of the corner trees on the left or turning it over on the right side. It's really difficult to even recover a par. But this is one that everyone in the field can reach for birdie, and everyone's thinking about it.
Owen, great power on that sidearm, gets way up there. She'll be just tucked a little on the right against that tree, but it's nice to get up there on that kind of flatter part.
That was a huge skip.
Oh, Morgan a little early. Oh, and that looks like it kicked OB.
It's crazy how many discs that last tree gets. Deann sneaking past all of them, getting a kick, but not a bad one. Raven trying to bounce back here. This hole is made for her game.
Yeah, almost had it. I'd say just a touch low, which is an easy, I don't want to call it a mistake, but it's scary to put this one in the air. There's so much that can go wrong if you hit a tree. Oh, Deann.
Oh,
Ah,
that was such a narrow, scary gap,
this
but
is
really mean kick.
yeah, and this is where it gets so hard to focus up and try to stay in it for the rest of the round.
She's going to have to work her way down the right side. It's so brutal over there. Morgan,
yeah.
not trying to get too crazy, but she still kind of just chucks it over into the other side.
Raven left with this very skinny gap sheet, goes right side of that tree right in front of her.
Okay.
Really nice.
This is like the quintessential pinball hole. You see a lot of players just going left, right, left, right, left, right. Not own, though.
No.
She goes straight to the bullseye.
And we are looking at 4 in a row, which we are calling a tufted titmouse, I believe.
Peter.
Wow. Morgan showing us that great control of her forehand. Perfect nose angle, perfect flex. Oh, man. Deann not left with a great gap here. Oh, my.
This is pretty classic Idlewild. It happens to everyone at some point.
Raven leaves that birdie bid short. Right there for a par, though. Deann looking at a snowman here. Quadruple bogey. But she found a friend.
Yeah, snatches an inchworm out of the air. Actually saw that one when I went through and left it. 10 birdies on hole 7. About a quarter of the field, but only 1 birdie on our on our lead card. Own for her tufted titmouse. Another check-in on the chase card with Natalie Ryan on the next hole.
Having a really clean round. Puts great power on that shot. Actually gets all the way out. It's really difficult to get past that tree that she just passed.
Yeah, got a little lucky there at the end.
You kind of have to.
Yep, you got to.
Oh, and she's thinking eagle for sure.
Yeah, she just chucks it at the trees and hopes to give herself a putt down there, and it works out.
Looks like a deep circle 2 look. She's just going to lay up, take the easy birdie. Looks like she's going to move to 5 down.
Yep, bogey free so far on the front 9. She was so excited. She's like, this is the best I've ever played this course in my life.
Own. Look at her go.
Just extending that lead.
Madison Walker still in the chat.
Yeah, honk.
Oh, 8's a par 5, 576 feet. Full of trees, just hundreds of them. Look at them. Flex forehand is a great play. You see a lot of backhand kind of soft hyzers that almost get out the gap, but not quite. If you can get your second shot up to here, line up the gap, and then pitch a forehand, that's a really typical game plan. Doesn't always work out that way. There is an OB line on the left that can maybe come into play. You want to avoid early left, middle left, late left, late right.
Early right.
Early right. In that order. And we did see Own eagle this as well with 2 flex forehands. A lot of great shots get stuck right on that stump. It's possible to birdie from there. Raven showing us the backhand line, and that's about as well as you could do it. And she stays center cut, which is a tall order.
That was amazing.
Looks like that was a chameleon escape, which she is very good with, and it happens to be her tour series.
You see, yeah, go get one of those. I'm curious about that. I'm going to look it up, find my gyro equivalent, because that looked way too easy.
Morgan catches a tree left, but gets the good kick to the right. Deann looks like she catches the top of the hill, but gets some good ground play. She'll be kind of impeded on that left side.
That's like if there was a heat map, that is a red zone for where discs funnel.
Hot spot for sure. Smooth recovery shot from Morgan. Gets way out there. I mean, she could think about getting all the way down there still for a birdie. That was a really great shot. Out of eagled position, I would argue, but it sure looks like she's sending it.
She trickled to the right a little bit. It's going to be tough. We watched Morgan have to kind of chunk her way down the fairway from there. We'll see what Own decides to do. Deann, a tiny gap, just trying to get to the hill.
Do you mean yesterday? I think that was Emily.
Yes.
Weatherman had a rough time on that right side. A lot of times you just need to pitch out. Raven lined up really well to attack here.
And that choosing a backhand here is so wild, and it's great. It's a little off to the left side, but that's going to be just fine.
Morgan's third. Kind of difficult, a little bit of an uphill run up the hill, and yeah, you can see some difficulties there. Deann throwing a lot more forehands than we're used to seeing from her. This is a really pretty one.
Yeah, that looked great.
And she's hyped.
Yeah, she's claiming it. Oh, and did you check that out? Oh, Morgan actually has a little gap.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's even worse than it looks. And pretty well done, but it can be so rough down there. Usually a low ceiling. You end up like hunched over trying to do a straddle putt most of the time. Oh, not through cleanly either. Looks like she'll be in circle 2 for a birdie look. All right, Raven has something.
Man, I did not know she went in that deep.
Yeah, she's all up in that tree, and yeah, okay.
All right. Nice little backboard. Oh, wow.
Morgan's still trying to give it a run for her par save, looking like another bogey.
Morgan not quite far off. Just some single bogeys, just trickling barely out of the right position.
Raven, again, not able to connect on the birdie putt. Par is fine on this one.
Deann, unfazed, taking a birdie.
Happy to get some green on the scorecard.
Yeah, it's so hard to shake off a hole like she just had, and she's already out there joking around.
Yeah, looking bubbly. Own. With the par there.
Only 8 birdies on hole 8 today. In the middle of the pack on difficulty.
Ooh, man. kind of a rough one.
Yeah. A lot of shots. A lot of shots. Over not very much ground, which is so weird. But then we have this fun hole, hole 9, wrapping up the front with this 250-footer. One that everyone can reach, but it's a tight gap. It's kind of a classic old school disc golf wooded hole. We love to see it. We did have a little bit of a headwind again today, so just got to be careful with your angle control. I like coming in low and flat with an overstable disc. But we do see a good number of flippy backhands and some flex forehands as well.
Oh, so pretty. Although
Coming in hot.
Coming in very hot. Deann catching some branches, drops into circle 2. Speed control is almost impossible on this one. It feels like you're just trying to hit the gap and kind of hope you check up.
Owen with a smart play here, going high and nose up, so it hopefully checks up, but you always...
Oh, that's great.
Wow, it does check up.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's impossible to get it to check up.
Raven, I like to see her going forehand off the tee. She hardly ever does that. She's such a backhand technician. She gets to the corner. Should be hopefully an easy par. Morgan also putting it up high, fading a bit earlier than Owen did, it looks like. And also checking up.
That was a friendly tree. Tree branch checked it up for her. A lot of forehands go deep into the bushes. Raven with a classic hole 9 pitch up from that corner tree. Kind of more difficult than it looks.
Deann coming way back up for a birdie. You can get rollaways on this one. I like how aggressive she was on the run. Catches some chains.
She trusts her putt. I love how hard she runs them.
Yeah. Nice birdie from Morgan.
Yep, just trying to clean up those single bogeys.
Still 3 over, but time to work back towards even par on the back 9.
Oh, another birdie.
Come on. 6 down.
Free. Bogey free 6 down.
6 down's the course record. Wow.
There were only 6 birdies on this hole. We saw 2 on our lead card today.
One final chase card, check-in with Natalie Ryan on the shortest hole in the course. She releases that very early. That is not a good shot, but she is fortunate to get through. And a very good putt, though, to get the birdie.
Capitalizes on this elevated pin.
And Own 10 strokes ahead of her competitor on the card. It looks like Natalie Ryan is tied with her, but threw a few more holes at 6 down currently. Alexis Manduhano also having a good round at 4 down. Look at her, Sarah Hokum, shooting up 9 and 10 places. Anytime you can get under par at Idlewild, you're going to be making moves.
Yep. We have 9 more holes. The conditions stay nice and calm as the day moves on. It seems like we're seeing less birdies out here generally. It's like Owen is hoarding all of them for herself and not letting anyone else have
like
any.
A dragon.
Birthday girl gets what she wants. So come watch the rest of Championship Sunday with us on the back 9 here at Idlewild on the most beautiful day ever. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 Hot Geese.
Honk.